I had always been interested in the paranormal, drawn to the idea of a world beyond our own, where spirits roamed and unseen forces exerted their influence. It was this fascination that led me to accept a job as a caretaker at a remote, dilapidated mansion on the outskirts of a small, forgotten town. The mansion, shrouded in an aura of mystery and dread, stood atop a hill overlooking the town, its silhouette stark against the darkening sky. Locals whispered tales of its haunted past, of a dark tragedy that had befallen its former inhabitants, leaving behind a lingering presence that cast a pall over the entire town. As I approached the mansion for the first time, I felt a shiver run down my spine. The air was heavy with an oppressive silence, broken only by the creaking of the ancient trees that surrounded the estate. The mansion itself loomed over me, its windows like vacant eyes staring into the gathering gloom. Despite the warnings of the locals, I was determined to uncover the truth behind the mansion's haunting. I had always been skeptical of such things, but there was something about this place that drew me in, a sense of morbid curiosity that I couldn't ignore. The first night I spent in the mansion was a restless one. Strange noises echoed through the halls, the sound of footsteps padding across the bare floorboards, doors creaking open and slamming shut, whispers that seemed to dance just beyond the edge of my hearing. I tried to brush these occurrences off as tricks of the mind, the product of an overactive imagination. But as the nights wore on, the phenomena grew more pronounced. I would wake up to find objects moved from their original positions, cold spots would form on my body, and the feeling of being watched was constant, an invisible presence that seemed to follow my every move. One night, as I sat alone in the library, a book suddenly flew off the shelf and landed at my feet. I stared at it in disbelief, my heart pounding in my chest. There was no wind, no draft, no explanation for the book's movement. I knew then that I was not alone in this mansion. There was something here, something powerful and unseen, something that was determined to make its presence known. As my fear grew, so did my determination to uncover the truth. I spent my days scouring the mansion, searching for clues to its haunted past. I found old diaries hidden away in dusty corners that spoke of a family torn apart by tragedy, of a young woman who had met a violent end within the mansion's walls. The more I learned, the more I felt a connection to the spirit that haunted the mansion. I felt its pain, its anger, its desperation, and I felt a strange compulsion to help her, to find a way to set her free. One night, as I sat in the mansion's grand ballroom, I felt a sudden chill, and a ghostly figure materialized before me. It was the young woman from the diaries, her face contorted in a mask of pain and sorrow. She reached out to me, her touch icy cold, and I felt a surge of empathy for her. I wanted to help her, to release her from her torment. I closed my eyes and focused on the energy that surrounded her, the lingering remnants of her life that had been cut short. I imagined her as she once was, full of life and joy, and I poured my own love and compassion into her spirit. As I did so, I felt a sense of peace wash over me. The ghostly figure began to fade, her expression softening as she drifted away. When I opened my eyes, the ballroom was empty once again, but I knew that the young woman's spirit had finally found peace. She had been trapped in the mansion for so long, but now she was free. The mansion was still haunted, but it was no longer a place of fear and dread. It was now a place of peace and tranquility, a sanctuary for the spirits who roamed its halls. As for me, I continued to care for the mansion, my fear replaced by a sense of respect and admiration for the spirits who resided there. I had learned that the paranormal was not something to be feared, but rather something to be understood and embraced.